Hello everybody, I am Fuzzyface and welcome back once again to this Motorsport Manager game where we are doing a Ferrari challenge. At the moment still, Charles Leclerc is first in the driver's standings, Mick Schumacher is second. There's 35 points separating them, which is 5 first place finishes for Schumacher. If Charles Leclerc finished all those same 5 races in second place, that is what it would take for Mick Schumacher to tie this series back up. There are currently 7 races left. So to win the championship, if Charles Leclerc finishes second in all the races, Schumacher would need to win pretty much all 7 of these to confirm himself as champion. If he wins 6 and Charles Leclerc wins 1, then it will be a tie at the end of the season. If Charles Leclerc wins 2 more of these, barring him crashing or anything like that, then he is pretty much got the title confirmed. And thanks to Samuel Long, who commented on one of the previous videos, we finally figured out why Charles Leclerc is doing so much better than Schumacher in the races. It is because of this racer stat. I'm not sure why I overlooked this at first. I've not really checked on his stats other than the easy on fuel one. But as it sees, this modifier applies during the race. He gets a +2 to pretty much every stat. Is that every stat there is? Yeah, all 9 of the driver stats get a boost, a +2 boost, which probably makes him around a 4.5 star driver. So as you can see from his potential, he can get up to a 4.5 star driver, but he always has this racer modifier, this racer trait, which will always boost. If he gets to the 4.5, it will boost him up to being a 5-star driver. So that is possibly why I set at 4.5. So he does have a big advantage over Mick Schumacher in terms of what they can do with the car. We have built the last part of the season that we're going to build, which was a new rear wing that has gone into the car of Schumacher. So as we can see now, there's 4 areas here: the engine, the brakes, the front wing and the rear wing, where Schumacher has the better part. Leclerc is retaining the best suspension and the best gearbox, but as we can see, Schumacher, this is going to be the first time this season where we run a car, or run 2 cars, where one car is a lot better than the other one, just to see if that evens things up a little bit more. See if Schumacher can get away with this setup. As we can see, Schumacher is delighted with the car. It has made Charles Leclerc slightly unhappy, -4% on what his expectations are against the other car. He does like the car overall, 8%, so he's not going to be unhappy with that setup. He is still going to be gaining 4%, a projected morale change of 4%, so he's not going to be losing any morale. So that's what we're going to do at Spa. So other than that, we've got the new HQ built. We've now built everything that you can do from the first round. There's a road car factory and a theme park to go, but it would take a long time to get to that point. We're possibly going to be abandoning this Ferrari season as soon as the 2017 mod comes out, so we might only have 1 more season left of this 2016 mod that we've done. So we might get through 4 series of this, and at that point we would have possibly won the Constructors' Championship 3 times, and got Leclerc and possibly Schumacher both a title win each, which is all the expectations and aims that I had for this series. So yeah, anyway, we're going to jump straight into Spa. We're going to run qualifying practice, we're going to go through all that jazz, and we'll come back when it's time to go through the grid. Actually, just before we jump into the race, Mick Schumacher's title hopes have had another shocking development here. He has been competing in stock car championships, so he's got a +2 boost to braking here, but as we can see from this one, Mick Schumacher burgled whilst away for race weekend. So he's suffered this burglary now, which has given him a -1 on all of his stats. His smoothness has gone down again, his fitness has gone down, everything's gone down 1. That is going to last for 8 weeks. So that is going to last to about Singapore, so about 4 races. So Schumacher has become a 3.5 star rated driver, and that's going to affect him for possibly the next 4 races. So that's going to put a real dampener on his perspectives here. He does have the better car, so we're going to have to see how he performs with that. So anyway, as I said before, we're going to jump straight into everything now. We're going to come back for the grid, just see how we can get on in qualifying. So here we go with the grid for the 2018 Spa Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc keeps pole position here, as he has done for the last few races. Mick Schumacher, even in the vastly superior car, is still second. So what we might do even for the next race is give Schumacher the best part in every category, just to see if that catches him up, just see what sort of effect that makes, just to see what sort of a star rating difference between the drivers makes if one's in the better car and one isn't in the better car. But anyway, on the second row of the grid, we've got Daniel Ricciardo in the Red Bull, Sebastian Vettel in the Mercedes, followed by Max Verstappen in the other Red Bull, Nico Rosberg in the Williams. Then on the fourth row of the grid, we have both Force Indias, Hülkenberg, Kimi Räikkönen, and then in ninth position, we have Lewis Hamilton in the McLaren, Valtteri Bottas in the Williams in 10th. On the sixth row of the grid, Juncadella in 11th in the Mercedes, Alonso in the Renault in 12th, the Toro Rosso of Jolyon Palmer in 13th, followed by the Renault of Marcus Ericsson in 14th, followed by Romain Grosjean in the Toro Rosso in 15th and Pascal Wehrlein in 16th in the Manor. And then on the 9th row we have the McLaren of Delatraz, the Racing Engineering car of Jack Aitken and Verne in the Manor in 19th, and as usual Norman Nato keeping up his run of 20th places on the grid. Norman Nato in the Racing Engineering car once again at the back. So once again we've got Schumacher all out pushing from the start just to see if that can give him a better start. His starts are pretty, he's off away a little bit better there, but Charles Leclerc gets a run into the first corner, but Schumacher's got the run here. Schumacher's going to have to turn down pretty quickly, but Leclerc's dropped down to third place, and there we go. Vettel has managed to squeeze his way out into first place, so our Ferrari's not in the lead for once here, and Ricciardo is challenging Leclerc there. Leclerc managed to fight off Daniel Ricciardo there. Schumacher meanwhile is pushing his car. We're going to have to go high mode here, and we want to just look after his tyres because Schumacher can just about do this race in one stop using super soft tyres on for both stints. Leclerc can do it really easy. Leclerc can get 10 laps off a super soft. Schumacher can only just about get 8 laps off a super soft. We want to try and look after his fuel now because we can see the fuel difference between our two drivers. Leclerc's used 0.02 more than what the fuel tank allows, and Schumacher's used 0.24 more. So we need to start recovering a little bit earlier with Schumacher. At the moment we can still go like this. Maybe we should try and turn Schumacher down. The tyres are getting to just about where we want them to. We just need to try and recover a tiny little bit because, as we know, as has become the norm, the Mercedes really like to push their engine. They really like to go with a really high fuel mix. So we'll just sit behind Vettel for a little bit. We should be able to get past him pretty easily as soon as he turns down. They usually do that around about the halfway point of the third lap. So as we come up Kemmel Straight, up onto Kemmel Straight here, we should see the Mercedes turn down as they do, and we can now go high mode again. We should get the run on them one of these laps coming up. It might take us a while though because Schumacher is, as you remember, 3.5 stars. He's rated 3.5 stars at the moment because he's been burgled. So he's lost a lot there. So whether Schumacher is actually going to be holding up Leclerc here, don't know. But we just got to hope that Schumacher gets close enough to Vettel that this superior Ferrari with its really powerful engine can get past Vettel on Kemmel Straight. As we hit these turns now, we're struggling actually a little bit this time. Leclerc is getting right on the back of Schumacher. I think Schumacher is actually holding up Leclerc here, but we're not going to. We've got a virtual safety car out at the moment. We're going to actually try and recover some fuel here and cool these tyres down a bit whilst the virtual safety car's out. So if we go low for everything and we're going to start recovering a bit of fuel, we are, aren't we? So we need to get ready to turn back up here. And 2 seconds left. We'll go back to neutral and high mode. Back to neutral and high mode. It saves a little bit of fuel, but it means we're behind Vettel again for another lap here. So 5th lap, and Leclerc makes his move on Schumacher. Leclerc gets past Schumacher. So Leclerc now possibly should be able to catch up to Sebastian Vettel here. And obviously we can push his tyres a little bit more because as we can see, Schumacher is burning through his tyres quite a lot quicker than Charles Leclerc is. We can possibly go into push mode with Charles Leclerc. We do really need to chase down Vettel here. Almost at the halfway point of the race. This is it. This is the first time we haven't been. And there we go. Up Kemmel Straight, up into the S-bend right at the end there. Leclerc managed to power past Vettel, and we should see Leclerc starting to pull ahead here. Schumacher, meanwhile, he needs to get round another lap. Just about. Does Schumacher? Just so these laps are long enough. Just so the tyres last. He needs to get around another 2 laps on this tyre. Is he going to be able to do it? Without going into conserve mode, we might be able to beat Vettel through the pits. Vettel is at about the same. He's really about the same on the tyres. Leclerc, meanwhile, doesn't have to pit this lap. We can go back into medium with him. Actually, we can go. We don't want to go concert. We should really think about cooling them down, but we've got a lot of tyre. We've got a lot of percentage in the tyre life left. So here we go. 9 laps remaining. We need to get Schumacher in on this one. We're going to have to go conserve mode. Just going to go into the 20% of these tyres pretty soon. We should just have enough to get through to the end with another pair of super soft. But obviously we do really need Schumacher to get past at some point so we can start to try and recover some fuel. Vettel's going to hit the pits as well. We're not going to risk a fast pit stop because we don't really want to lose any time. We just really want to concentrate on getting Schumacher ahead of Vettel here. Schumacher's trying to make a move, but they're both going to be coming into the pits, so we're just going to see what they're like after this pit stop. Leclerc goes past the pits there, so we can set his pit stop up now. He's coming in for a pair of super softs as well. Schumacher is just about on the cliff drop off here of 20% for these super softs, so he gets in behind Vettel. Are we going to get back out in front of him? There we go, just about the same there, just in front of the Red Bull of Daniel Ricciardo. He's done quite a job at keeping up this time. So we're going to go push mode on this. We've still got just about enough left. We just need to get past Vettel. Should we just try push everything to get past Vettel? And then we can concentrate on just running in backup mode from that point. We'll just see how close we can get for a couple of laps like this. We need to get close to him up Kemmel Straight, and here comes Leclerc into the pits. A good pit stop from Leclerc. He can come out of the pits and push. So we're getting round to about the business end of this lap up Kemmel Straight, where we can really make our move in this Ferrari. So we're going to turn everything up here and hope as we get past Eau Rouge that we've got the run on Vettel up Kemmel Straight here. Here comes Schumacher, powers through in this Ferrari. Get everything turned back down now because he's got no real chance of catching Leclerc here, even though he does have the better car. We do need to look after these tyres a little bit more than what Leclerc does. We can just let Leclerc run like this and be able to finish the race. But as for Schumacher, we've got to be a little bit more careful with his tyres. We just got to make sure that we don't rush through these tyres to the point that Mercedes and Red Bull could catch us at the end of the race. Let's try and actually cool them down a little bit as well. So we've got Vettel third, we've got Ricciardo fourth, Verstappen in fifth, Verline up into sixth, but he's yet to do his first pit stop. Hulkenberg 7, Hamilton 8th in the McLaren, Rosberg in the other Williams, Ericsson yet to pit. There's still a few of these cars that have started on the harder compound tyre who have yet to pit. So a lot of these we should be expecting to see move back up the order. Jolyon Palmer in the Toro Rosso meanwhile crashed. Leclerc is still out in first place, picking up time over Schumacher. This is going to be at the point now where Leclerc is going to be theoretically the champion, sort of, unless he has a really bad accident and he sort of crashes out. These stat degradation traits that Schumacher's had, he's had a couple now where he's got a dodgy back at the moment. He's been burgled, so he's lost quite a lot of stats. He's lost quite a lot of the points to his stats recently over the last couple of races, which has really hurt him going into this business end of the season where he really needed to be picking up his performance. He is going to get a vastly superior car from the next race on, just to see if that sort of tightens things up between these two cars again. As we can see, Leclerc is doing a 136, although we've possibly got a little bit of time now just to see what these cars can do if they run in the same mode. What we'll do is we'll go medium on both these cars, then we'll see what they can do off the next lap, just to see how close they are, see what Schumacher can do. He does have the better car. Leclerc meanwhile is the better rated driver, since he does have this racer trait which gives him +2 to everything. His consistency is up at the moment for being an endurance champion. So here we go on this lap. They were within 0.6 of a second on the last one. They were a little bit different for part of the lap. So for this lap, Leclerc is about 0.7 off the pace of his last lap, but Schumacher is going quicker meanwhile, since he's pushing his tyre a little bit more. So let's just see what they can do off this lap, see if Schumacher's quicker this time around. It looks like he could be slightly quicker. And there we go. Leclerc does a 137.8 to Schumacher's 136.6. That's quite a big difference. But obviously, we can't run these cars on the same strategy, because Leclerc is a lot better with his fuel than Schumacher is. So he always gets that chance to push. Leclerc can actually push on his tyres for a lot longer. So that really as well as having the racer stat, that really works in Leclerc's favour in the battle between Schumacher and Leclerc. It's going to take quite a lot for Schumacher to sort and get up to that point where he can really challenge Leclerc with those advantages to his stats. And we're on the final lap now. We've got just about enough in these tyres. We're going to sort of just about recover the fuel, I would think. We're going to be just off, but it's not going to be enough for... Where is the... It's actually the Red Bull of Ricciardo behind us. His tyres are dropping off as well. But the fuel is getting pretty close here. We should be able to just about do it. He's going to run out just about now. And there we go. He gets across the line. There we go. So Leclerc, another win. Another win for Charles Leclerc. Schumacher, second place once again. So that's 8 wins now for Leclerc. It's 2 wins for Schumacher this season. So Schumacher has a lot of hard work to do if he wants to keep up. His stats need to improve more. He will be improved in about... Did it say 8 weeks? Did it say 8 weeks? Yeah, it's 8 weeks for the burglary trait to disappear. He will be losing the bad back trait at some point in the near future, which will give him a little bit, but that only really affects a couple of areas like fitness and so on and so forth, whereas the burglary trait affects everything. He's got a -1, whereas Leclerc gets a racer trait, a +2 for everything. So live timings, the quickest lap of the race was done by Charles Leclerc, 1:36.005. Schumacher not much slower than that with a 1:36.3. Whereas Sebastian Vettel must have pushed his car at some point during the race, did a 1:34.9. Obviously that is everything pushing. You can only do that for about a lap or 2 during the race. So next time out, Schumacher is going to have the better car in every aspect. And we'll just see if that makes a difference for Schumacher. It will give him possibly pole position for the race, since that racer trait of Charles Leclerc only applies to the race. It doesn't actually apply to qualifying. So Schumacher should have pole position during the next race. Whether he can keep first place after that with the +2 bonus that Charles Leclerc gets in the race, that will be interesting to see, even though he has a better car. So that's what we'll be coming back for the next time. We've got another 3 million going to the bank. We've got 25 million in the bank now. Yeah, that's another excellent race there. We've got 6 races left. We're 264 points ahead here. It's not enough to confirm the championship just yet, but we've got Austin Grand Prix, which is a really strong track for us because it has this sort of oval, and since we've got the best engine, the best gearbox by a long margin. Last season Sebastian Vettel got pole position with a lap that was 5 seconds quicker than every other car. We're going to see what Schumacher can do in a vastly superior car next time out. So that is going to be interesting to see next time out. That should be coming up tomorrow at 12 PM GMT time, and then obviously we'll be following that up tomorrow at 5 PM GMT with the Montreal Grand Prix at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We've got Mick Schumacher, Charles Leclerc. Car condition doesn't drop much. The interview, as we always do, we just go for the middle one. There's no point even reading it. Hopefully the next patch, so I think it's going to improve the interviews. Hopefully the downloadable content for the GT comes out soon. I'm really wanting to play the GT game, but it keeps getting delayed at the moment. And there we go, hard fought win for Leclerc. But anyway, that's where we're going to leave this episode. We're going to be back next time for the Austin Grand Prix. So thank you once again for everybody for subscribing, commenting, liking in these videos. I think we're at 489 subscribers. We're 11 away at the moment from 500 subscribers. That would be amazing to get. So everyone, if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button down below. But until next time, I will see you down the road in Austin for the American Grand Prix, and goodbye.